Hi everyone, in this video I will explain what are the different types of arrays in C programming language. So there are three types of arrays. So that is one dimensional, two dimensional and three dimensional, and these arrays can be categorized depends on the number of subscripts we are using with arrays. So what do you mean by subscripts? So simply we are using a square brackets, right, and those are said to be a subscripts. So if I am using only one subscript, then it is said to be one dimensional. If I am using two, it is said to be two dimensional. If I am using more than that, it is said to be a multi-dimensional array. So I will explain each and every type of array. So we will start with one dimensional array. So an array with a single or one subscript is said to be a one dimensional array. So how to declare one dimensional array? By simply using a syntax, data type, array name, and within one subscript you can provide the size of your array, and it ends with semicolon. So this data type, it may be of any data type, that will be integer, double, float, character or unsigned integer, whatever depends on your requirement. You have to take your array data type. Suppose if you want to store 10 integer values, you can use the data type as integer. Example, suppose I want to declare floating point array, so I can use my data type as float and my array name is num here. So I am using one subscript because I am discussing about a one dimensional array, and here my size of an array is 10. So once you declare an array like this, so the compiler will reserve the required memory for this array. So what's happening once you declare your array? So your compiler will take, so for storing a one floating point, it will take 4 bytes. So in order to store 10 floating point values, it will reserve 40 bytes of memory. Suppose if I take character array, so char name of 25. So then what's happening? This array can capability to store 25 characters, right? Because my array type is character. So my array name is name. It can hold maximum of 25 characters. So how much memory is reserved for this array? So one character, it will take 1 byte of memory. So here I have 25 characters. So 25 multiplied with 1, it reserves 25 bytes of memory for this array. So now I will show you how to initialize this one dimensional array. Initialize one dimensional array. So you can initialize one dimensional array not only for one dimensional, for any dimensional arrays we can initialize in two ways. So one is compile time and the second one is runtime. So depends on your program requirement, you can choose any one of initialization. So what is the difference between compile and runtime initialization is, so once you want to use a compile time initialization, you can give the values for your array at the time of programming itself, right? So at the time of programming, so you can give the values of an array, that is said to be a compile time initialization. So now you can assign values to your array at the time of execution. Time of execution. So then it is said to be a runtime initialization. So I'll show you how we can initialize your array at compile and runtime. So for compile time initialization, we can use a syntax. Means at the time of declaring your array, you can initialize your values to your array. So here data type, then your array name. You can specify the size here is equals to. So once you want to assign a value for any variable, that may be of a normal variable or an array variable, we can use an assignment operator, and after that you can use a flower braces. Within that you can provide your list of elements. Then you must end with semicolon. So for example, suppose if I am taking my array A of 5, so then simply I can pass 10 integer values here. So I can pass like this. You can give any values here, it is acceptable, but you remember you can pass all integer values. Suppose if I am declaring my array char name of 10, So it can hold maximum of 10 characters. You may or may not give 10 characters, but you cannot exceed the range. So here I am passing. So always remember, characters will pass in between and single quotations. Right? See, for example, if I want 5 characters here, so simply I can give a single quotation, then I can pass my values. So these are said to be elements. Right? So here I am passing 6 characters, and the last character is ended with null character for your character type. So this is how you declaring one-dimensional array at compile time. So now coming to a runtime initialization. So you can initialize the values for your array at the time of executing your programs. For that you can use your scanf statement. So because you need to read the data from your input, and you want to repeatedly take information from the keyboard, you can use your loops. So simply you can use any of the loop like for loop, while or do while, but most probably they are using for loops for reading the information from keyboard. So you can use for loop like I equals to 0 and I less than whatever the size you have to specify the size here. Suppose if I taken for this array, I'll provide my size is 5 because I0, I less than 5, then I plus plus. So simply you can write your scanf statement here. So this is of type integer. I can use %d as my format specifier. I can provide the address of my array. So address of any variable or arrays can be taken by using this ampersand symbol. So don't forget, in scanf statement you must give an ampersand symbol to refer the address of that particular variable. And here my array name is A, so I can give A, and I want to read the position of I. So here I want to give I. So now semicolon. So this is how you can read the content from the keyboard into your one-dimensional array. So how this for loop is executed? So simply your array can be represented like this. So one-dimensional array can be represented like this. So once you declare your array, so the memory is reserved for your array like this. So here your array name is A. So it starts from index 1 and ends with 4 because starting index is always 0 and last index it always n minus 1. So here n value is 5. So the last index is 4. So the elements you can place in these positions, right? So see here, initially your I value is 0. So 0 less than 5 condition is true. Now it come inside. What is the functionality of scanf? It can read the data and it can place into the position. What is the position here? A of 0 position. So it will take this position, and whatever the first value you given from the keyboard, suppose for example if I am given 52. So now that value is saved in this location, and after that your I get increments. Now your I is 1. So 1 less than 5 condition is true. So now again it come inside and it will take the position of A of 1. So suppose the user given A of 1 value is 62. Right, so that value is stored in this location. Again your I increments, it will take the second position and A of 2 position value is read. And after that I increments and it get third position. So it will take the value and placed into this position. And after that again I increments, it will get 4. 4 less than 5 condition true. Again it will leave the last array element. Right, and after that also I value it get increments. Now it becomes 5. So 5 less than 5 condition fail. So once the condition fail, it exit from your for loop. So now your loop is not repeated. So this is about a one-dimensional array, how to declare and initialize at compile time and run time. So in my next video I will explain two and multi-dimensional arrays. Thank you.